and welcome back to Rumor Has It Official. Let's get straight into talking all about 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. This is season 6, episode 9, and the title of this episode is Not So Silent Partners. In this video, we're going to be talking all about Elizabeth and Andrei. But before we get started, my besties, I need a huge favor from you all. Give this video a big thumbs up, share, subscribe, plus hit that bell so you will be notified on future uploads that will be coming out this week. And let's go ahead and get straight into it. I have my handy dandy phone here. I am going to read from my phone, which I have some notes here so that I can stay on topic and get out all these points that I want to discuss in regards to these two in this episode. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Today is the day that Libby and her family are going on their family trip. Now, while packing last minute, Libby says to her husband, can she borrow a pair of his socks? And he tells her to buy her own, and it's her problem, not his. What a jerk. What a jerk Andrei is. Like, he is a straight up jerk. Andrei tells Libby that he's glad that the drunk bum won't be riding in the RV with him. He's referring to Charlie, to which for the first time ever, Libby says to him, why do you have to insult my brother? Now, check this out. Since Andrei has a commercial driver's license, he will be driving the RV. Now, everyone will be riding in the RV except for Charlie and his wife. Charlie is a smart man. He is a smart man not to ride in this RV with Andrei driving, and just there's going to be drama, and I'm assuming he's trying to avoid that at all costs, which I think is a good call. It was hilarious watching their daughter, Eleanor, before they take off, having a field day in that driver's seat. Little girl legs was just a swinging. She was just a smiling, and she was going to town on that steering wheel. And I just thought it was hilarious. And it was also a breath of fresh air to see her all smiles, because normally we know Eleanor is fussy. She's crying all the time. She's whining all the time. So it was just really cute seeing her smiling and having a blast behind the wheel. Now, once they get on the road, Andrei is driving too fast and hitting signs. I personally would have to see proof of him having a commercial license. Now, he ends up making a sharp turn on the way to get the family, and all the drinks fall out on the floor. And Libby is so flippin' dramatic by saying the drinks almost hit her in the head. She loves to lie and over-exaggerate. You know, those drinks fell on the floor, and she was sitting like up closer to where Andrei was driving, so there's no way those drinks could have fell out and hit her, like shot out and hit her in her face. So she's just, like I said, very, very dramatic. Once Andrei picks everyone up, they all comment on the fact that the RV is too small and too tight to fit everyone on, plus their luggage. Chuck says that he's excited to spend time with his family and also to see his family. I believe he said like his father, his brother, you know, he's excited to see his family. But he is concerned about the family drama. Yeah, and he should be. Now, once they get on the road, it's not long before Andrei and Rebecca get into a yelling match. First off, they got into a yelling match about, you know, the RV being too small. Not everybody could fit their luggage. And he's telling, oh, yeah, you just complain. You just, all you do is complain. And it was just a lot of like back and forth. I'm like, do these two like each other? It's just too much right now. Too much. But like I said, they get into a yelling match. And Andrei says that not everyone on the RV is going to make it. And Libby was like, well, where are they going to go? And Andrei says they're going to jump out and hitchhike. Andrei says that he doesn't care about anyone on the RV, only about the one-on-one bonding time that he wants to have with Chuck. Chuck and him are on the RV, fist pumping and crap. And I'm like, wow. So, you know, they really have been working together a lot behind the scenes for them to now have this newfound bond with one another. They're fist pumping, they're laughing and and all of that. So it's a hot mess. So they're still on the road, and Andrei says the whole point of this trip is for him to get on good terms with Chuck because he wants to start his own business with flipping houses as soon as possible. So Andrei starts talking business talk with Chuck, and at first Chuck is kind of like, you know, I kind of didn't want to talk about that right now because, you know, we're having our family trip, but he proceeds to keep talking about business. Maybe he was saying that because he knew his girls would be listening. And I would say girls because Elizabeth doesn't care because whatever happens with Andrei benefits her if it's good. So, I believe that Chuck is worried about Jen overhearing and Rebecca overhearing. So Rebecca, she definitely had her ears spread wide open because she wanted to make sure she heard the conversation. She was very strategic about where she sat too. So I peeped that out. So Andrei, like I said, he starts talking business with Chuck, and the conversation seems shady by the way that Chuck is dressing it up. So Becky jumps in because she overhears the conversation. Her and Andrei start going at it. And Andrei ends up, because he's going back and forth and not concentrating on the road and driving, he ends up missing his turn. So he turns down this area that is kind of like woodsy a little bit and tells Becky to step out of the RV to talk to him. He's like, get out here now. Come talk to me so I can clarify things. We need to talk. And she's like, no, I don't. Like, everybody's like, what are you doing? Drive. What are you doing? Where are we? We're lost. The way they talk, they remind me a lot of the Kardashians. Like, I've said this in one of my other recaps, like some wannabe Kardashians. The way they talk, it cracks me up. Like, what are you doing, Andrei? And like, it's just too much. So I really thought that this episode was definitely something. We all know that Andrei is enthused and excited and showing and that he is a team player and that he's for the family, just so that he can get in good graces with Chuck and keep that bond going so that he can get whatever he wants to get out of him. And it seems like, to me, Chuck is pretty much falling for it. We've seen Chuck have all this trash to say, like kind of trash talk and side with his son. Chuck has been very skeptical of Andrei and his moves and his actions, but now it seems like the more they work together, Andrei is he's winning him over. That's what it seems like to me. He's definitely winning over Chuck. So like I said, I believe that it was smart that Charlie and his wife did not ride in that RV. You see how tight it was. They wouldn't have been able to fit. So that was great that they did take a plane. I think they're flying there. And I think that some of the other siblings should have followed suit, especially Rebecca. But I think Rebecca wants to stay close so she can keep her ears open, so she can like stop or kind of speak up in regards to if she feels like Andrei is doing some shady stuff or scheme and plot, So she wants to be the one to speak up because she really started yelling and fussing at her dad and calling him out. And Chuck is just sitting there. He's really a pushover. And I'm not trying to be mean, but he's really a pushover. He doesn't speak up. It's very rare when you see him kind of like snap back at someone. But like when it comes to his daughters, he never puts them in their place if they're out of line with something. It's just like he just goes with whatever everybody says, and he doesn't speak up or have a voice. And I think that that's very important because he would be considered the foundation of the family. And so I think that he should try to take control of the situations where the back and forth yelling and all that stuff is happening. But even when he kind of has done that, they talk and yell over him anyway. No one really listens to him. So I guess maybe that's why I feel like he's a pushover. But I'm very curious to know what you all thought about this episode of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. We talked about season 6, episode 9. The title of this episode was Not So Silent Partners. We talked all about Elizabeth and Andrei and the family drama in this RV. Comment down below your thoughts. I always look forward to hearing from you. Give this video a big thumbs up, share, subscribe, plus hit that bell so you will be notified on future uploads coming out this week. And I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.